thinking. Does that work? Anyway. I guess I better put the tool wheel down. There we go. Hey, how you doing? Over the top there. I was just thinking, a little while ago, today, just a little bit ago, I was looking up at some clouds, and there was a gap in the clouds, because there's real clouds right now. I should show that. Real clouds, see? Real big, puffy, poofy clouds, nice ones, right? And they were rolling over. There's a hole in one, and as I looked through the hole in the cloud, I noticed a recently left trail going across the blue spot where I could see. And as I was looking at it, a jet, or they're, whatever, small drones pretending to be jets, but either way, comes flying through that blue spot and leaving another trail, the faster dissipating kind. And a lot of people think, if it dissipates quickly, it's not a Kimberly tea. It is a Kimberly tea. It's just a different mix. They're spraying multiple things on us. It's not just one thing being sprayed. It's a cocktail of things, so to speak. And so, right just a moment ago, though, I'm thinking, in light of the fact that we're all being poisoned to death, nobody wants to acknowledge it. And, as far as anybody's concerned, I feel fine, that's nothing, it doesn't do anything. Yeah, this is why it's sprayed all day, every day, and all night, every night on top of our cities and any populated area. Because it doesn't do anything. And if anybody hasn't noticed, those planes that are leaving those trails never, ever, 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 ever land at your airport. They go over your town. They never go to your airport. Hello, they're not commuter flights. Wake the hell up. But anyway, so I'm thinking, everybody's illness is off the charts right now. Cancer and mental problems, and there's, homeless people everywhere. And no one will make the connection that, a couple decades of being poisoned could cause these conditions. But think about it. What does being poisoned slowly with neurotoxins look like in a society? I mean, what would you expect? I would expect that it would look like or result in violence, anger, sadness, anxiety, depression, theft, homelessness, of course, because when you just cannot function properly, obviously you cannot take care of yourself properly. You can't do all the things you're supposed to do in a society to pay all your bills and meet all of the things that are expected of you just to be alive and live there, right? It won't happen because you're being poisoned. And poisoning is all kind of relative to your exposure to it, how much you're exposed to, and how long you're exposed to it, and your body's ability to shed itself of it. Warm. And So you're going to get a varying rate of decay of the population, is what I'm trying to get to there. So some people are going to think they're okay for a while longer, and while other people are going to have problems right away. And then society's going to, paint the picture that these people who aren't doing well are immoral drug addicts and losers and alcoholics and just bums that don't want to do anything and mooch off society or something like that. And that's going to be what's portrayed. When the reality of it is, there's a backwards drug thing in this country too. They think, he was doing great, and then he went out and he started doing drugs, and pretty soon, he lost everything and fucked up everything in his life. Yeah. That's not quite how it probably goes down most times. I'm going to say I've seen it happen in this way. Somebody is going out in their life and they're getting shit on left and right by everything and poisoned constantly, and pretty soon their best efforts fail and they become kind of destitute, and then maybe they start doing drugs, right? Is that a thing? Could that be a conceivable after school special sometime? I doubt it. But our media pushes these narratives all over the place. Our news does as well. And then a lot of them, they do happen. Things like that do happen. So you can't argue that it's not a thing, and nobody's going to come out and argue in favor of children doing drugs or something, right? But meanwhile, at the hospital, they're putting all the children on drugs. Hello, McFly. I had a McFly moment there, right? Anyway, back to my point of what does it look like? What do you expect to see in a society when they're being poisoned? What's it going to manifest in that society? Just look around you. It's going to manifest selfishness. The people that are still functional and who are not as inclined to, I don't know how to describe it. They're not as empathic. They don't feel as much of a connection with other people as some people do. And I'm empathic, I think, in this definition of it as we've come to know it. But I'm not one of them people. I'm not a people person. I'm highly sensitive to what other people feel is the difference, so I try to stay away from them most of the time. When I'm around people that are relaxed and feeling good, actually, then I'm relaxed and feel good. When I'm around a bunch of people that are all tense and troubled, I feel tense and troubled, even if there's nothing to make me feel tense and troubled about. That's just a personal aside there, but I think a lot of people are like that, and so they avoid being out around the public too much. But what does it look like? It looks like people who are poisoned, and what happens if you poison somebody real slowly, so that it's hard to even their symptoms, their little itches and twitches and problems develop real slowly over months and years, and just compound and slowly get worse until they become acute. And at that point, the person's non-functional. And look at this schizophrenic basket case here. Oh, they can't even function as they went out and did whatever. Had too many Oxycontins when they were, when they hurt their leg, or they drank too much Pepsi Cola when they were a kid, or they were exposed to Cyboxin at blah blah blah, or just make up a fucking name of a new disease and call it a new disease. It seems to be the medical model to me. I mean, in my opinion, it would be real easy to poison an entire population, and as they were becoming sick from the slow-acting, let's say, neurotoxin poison, they would develop a variety of health problems dependent on each one's individual strengths of their immune system and such and their exposure, in which case it would look like a multitude of diseases were happening. And then you just need to provide names for each one of them. You have Raynaud's. That's why your fingers turn white and feel like your fingernails are being pulled up. Oh, look, it was discovered in 1892 by Mr. Raynaud. Or you have blah, blah, blah. Insert here. You have rectal cancer. Isn't that wonderful? Congratulations. You're going to meet some nice doctors and become part of the economy. Yay for America, right? What the hell? People are fucking that stupid. Sure, I'll go to my doctor and let him cut parts of my body off and remove my spleen and my intestines and stick them up in my fucking rib cage. As long as I get to live for another 6 months in absolute torture. Who the fuck would do that? And I know somebody who has, and they're young, and it's fucking heartbreaking. I don't know how doctors who do that kind of surgery and stuff to people cannot just kill themselves after they get off their shifts, because they've got to realize they're a total piece of shit. This is probably going to get banned from YouTube for me saying that now. I'm going to have to go and blur that out or beep that out so that you can't hear it. Otherwise, you should kill themselves. So I'm not encouraging anyone to kill themselves. I said I don't know how it is that they cannot feel that way when they get off their shift of, cutting someone's intestines out and putting them up in their rib cage so that they can take out their spleen or their gallbladder or some bullshit. Cole, you got cancer. Yep, it's raging through you. Gosh, if we only knew how to stop it. Meanwhile, outside, the spray plane goes over, the truck rolls up to the water facility to put the fluoride in the water and the arsenic and mercury and the lead too. Hey, why not? Good mix of metals in there, because that's what makes a country strong and brave, like America. We want the whole world to be like America, where everybody's independent, free, strong, and brave, and living the dream in America. Isn't that great? Yay for America. Greatest country in the history of the universe. I don't think I can carry on with this much longer now. So, point being, What do you think it looks like? Look at the real fucking clouds. Real clouds. Oh my fucking god. With blue behind it, but there's some trail haze. You can see a line right there where the edge is. It's darker blue and then light and then hazed. That's the remnants of a haze because they were spraying earlier. They spray ahead of incoming storms big time too. So when you're getting sprayed out hard, it's probably there'll be weather coming in within 24 hours. My mom noticed that when I hipped her to the chemtrails in the first place. She didn't notice those, I don't think, but she told me one time, she was working out in the garden, and she's like, yeah, after about a month or so, and she said, I've noticed since you told me about those that each time there's a storm coming in, there's a whole lot of them. And so I started looking for that, and sure enough, she's right. They just hose it down before the rain comes. I think it's their last chance to get a good blast in before the rain washes the air clean. Having lived around here my whole life and grown up in this area, I can tell you that before they started trailing, there was absolutely fucking perfect air here. Perfect. Portland smog did not affect Clark County, and Clark County did not produce enough smog for it to be a thing. Big, giant, puffy, water-laden clouds. Fog that actually got you wet when you walked through it, not fog that has dry ground and dry grass and dry windows. I mean, if you have fog, you're supposed to have moisture. When you got fog and no moisture, you've been sprayed out. Anyway, our country, our society, Europe too, and most of the world, wherever you see that stuff going on above you and your water's been messed with and your food supply is controlled and brought to you by Cisco Systems, who supplies everybody. So, you think, oh no, I go to Winco, or I go to Safeway, or I go to Kroger, or I go to Walmart, I go to this, that, the other store. No, you don't. You go to Cisco Systems is where you go. Runs the whole fucking country for the food, pretty much. I mean, come on. Yeah, so, what's it look like when an entire nation is poisoned to the point of collapse? What's it manifest itself as in the society? Do you think it could manifest itself as a whole lot of sick people and cancer and diabetes and COPD and lupus and multiple sclerosis and what's some more good ones? How about some edema everywhere, swelling all over? How about what was that other one I was coming back from? Psoriasis, of course, all kinds of variations of psoriasis, but that wasn't it. It was irritable bowel syndrome? I'm sure that one could be in there too. Autoimmune, anything autoimmune. Your Raynaud's. Oh, my Raynaud's is flaring up. See, my fingers are turning white. It's not even that bad right now. I just go around with a continuous state of numbness and pain in my hands and my extremities, really my feet too, but I don't notice it as much there. And when it's really bad, I feel it on my face, on the tip of my nose, on my ears, on my cheeks, on my chin. It's like everything outer, wherever there's a point on me, is getting frozen feeling. And it obeys some electrical laws too, because like in Transformers, they have to be careful not to have any pointy edges on their windings or on the casing, because the electricity will naturally migrate to that point and arc there on those things. So I'm sure it operates the same way on high or low power levels. So I have a long-going theory of the wireless grid network interacting with the Kimberly T rails and her particles that we get to breathe every day and night, all day and night, that don't do anything and don't harm anybody, so they're perfectly safe. And that's how we know, because it's being done, and so we know it's safe, right? Because this is America and nothing bad can happen here. Yeah, I have a theory about how those two things interact together, because they both came into being on the exact same timeline. Think about it. It doesn't take a fucking rocket scientist to know that electrical waveforms are real. They go through the air. Your radio works, doesn't. Your wireless devices work. So electricity's real. It turns your lights on. Waves through the air are real. That you can communicate with them. And antennas are real because your antenna picks up that signal and your thing works. So fill your body with antennas and then send out a signal. A really high frequency signal because they're really small antennas. And they'll vibrate at resonance, obviously. This isn't rocket science. This is 101 basic shit. So when that happens, what's it do in your body? Oh, gee whiz. I don't know. I don't know what it does in your body, but I know it can be done that way. And only the degenerate piece of shit that would do that to a living thing and then see what it does to them would know what it does to them. And that would be all of our top brass. That would be everybody up there who really runs the show, because it ain't your politicians, it ain't Trump, it ain't Biden, it ain't Chameleon, it ain't the chameleon. Those are puppets. News is a fraud. We're not on a spinning ball in space. There's no such thing as a vacuum. A vacuum can only exist in relation to a different pressure differential. So there's a differential of pressure possible between two places, and that has to be contained within or excluded from by a container, or it can't happen. So, there you go. There's no gravitational constant. There's the pressure of the atmosphere. There's the pressure of the air, 15.1 or something, PSI at sea level, on every inch of your body, pushing down at all times, pushing sideways too. Pushing everything into one spot. Without it, we would burst because we were born and conceived in this environment. So it's we have to remain under that pressure. And if you really want to find out the easiest way, to know that the moon landings were complete bullshit and space is fake, if you're at any doubt at this point, find me some videos of vacuum chamber testing of capsules, space shuttles, space suits, cosmonauts, astronauts, anything at all. An actual, look legit vacuum chamber test where a guy got in a suit, they turned up the vacuum till they had what they say space is supposed to have of a differential. And then he walked around and moved his arms and stuff. Find it for me. If you can find that, you can't find it. But if you could, to any of you doubters out there, if you could find that, well, that would be as good as the final experiment to me. Show me real, genuine vacuum chamber testing done on the moon lander. Show me when they put that thing in a vacuum and they were all able to live inside of it because it didn't explode. I'd like to see that. Anyway, what's a poisoned nation look like? Just look around. Bye, guys.